everyone. How is everyone this evening? Tonight I was going to review the NGI2, the Nick Gage Invitational 2, but as I was sitting there and watching the show back, I realized I haven't watched enough deathmatch wrestling to really critique deathmatch wrestling. I don't really have a right to critique any wrestling, but I just don't know enough about it. So what I am going to do is talk about why in the past I was not a fan of deathmatch wrestling and why now I like some deathmatch wrestling. I'm not a huge deathmatch guy, but I can enjoy some of it. This light is too bright. Okay. For the most part, I've always thought deathmatch wrestling is just guys hitting each other with shit with no real purpose or intention. They're just hitting each other with stuff, which is really fucking stupid. Like, why would you willingly go do something like that if there's not a story behind it or a reason behind it? I got Gatorade tonight. But the death matches I like is just in regards to wrestling in general. Death matches can work if there is a point and a story to them and a reason that they're happening. The perfect example recently that I've seen of that was the main event of AIW Thunder in Indianapolis. This feud between Joshua Bishop and Matt Justice had been going on for well over a year, almost a year and a half at that point. And this match was supposed to happen in Tampa, but obviously WrestleMania weekend didn't happen, so they held off on it until the Collective. And it was the perfect way to use a death match, hardcore match, whatever term you want to use, to tell the story and to end the story between these two. Everybody got involved. Everybody took bumps. Bill Alfonso manages Matt Justice in AIW. Bill Alfonso took a splash from Wes Barkley, who manages Josh Bishop, off a ladder through a table. Justice dove off a balcony ECW style, which I asked him about that the next day, and he said, as soon as we saw it, we knew we were doing it. And then the ending of the match used Josh Bishop. They had tore one side of the barbed wire down. Bishop awesome bombed Justice out of the ring through a table. Justice kicks out, and then Josh hits him with, why Matt does this, I don't know. I love him to death, but Jesus Christ, is he a fucking nut job. Bishop hits him with 4 or 5 completely unprotected chair shots, and when I'm talking unprotected, I'm talking Mankind and The Rock at the 99 Royal Rumble unprotected, like that bad. But that is, to me, is the perfect example of using deathmatch wrestling to tell a story. Now, while I did go back and rewatch the NGI2, and I was very impressed with some of the matches because there were reasons behind things that they did. Like, Nick Gage has come out and said probably his favorite match he's had since he's been out of jail was his match with Cyclope, which was in the first round of the NGI. And then the main event of the NGI was Matt Tremont against Nick Gage. The mat was completely cinderbox, and it just hurt to sit there and watch them do that. Excuse me, but the story behind that was Gage missed the NGI 1 the year before because I want to say he had a parole violation or something, but he ended up going back to jail and had to miss the tournament. And while he was in jail the first time, Matt Tremont had kind of picked up the mantle of being the king of death matches in the United States. He was widely considered, and is probably still going to be considered for the foreseeable future, the greatest American deathmatch wrestler of all time. So Gage wanted to come back because Tremont was defending the GCW Game Changer Wrestling Championship throughout the entire tournament. So he defended it each match he had. He beat Schlack, and I forget who he beat in the second round, and then he beat Gage in the final. And the story with Gage was he was trying to come back and reclaim, because he calls himself the king. He's trying to reclaim his, I'm the king of GCW. This is my belt. I'm taking it back. That kind of thing. Tremont ends up winning, and there's a promo afterwards, and Tremont says, I do this because of you. And then Gage says, you're the fucking man, Matt Tremont, which, in my opinion, is probably the ultimate compliment you can get from Nick Gage. But yeah, like I never thought I would be a fan of deathmatch wrestling. Ooh, I'm messing with my microphone. In any way, shape, or form, but because of some friends I have up in Cleveland at AIW, they've pointed me in the right direction to good deathmatch wrestling, as opposed to the guys around my area, which is Marion, Ohio, and a lot of Ohio, that just hit each other with shit, and just there's no rhyme or reason to it. Perfect example is a promotion in Cleveland called Cleveland Wrestling Alliance. It's run by these two guys who have never lost because, surprisingly, they're the bookers. They bleed literally every single match. If you bleed every single match, it loses its meaning. That's what made ECW so special. Yes, they beat the ever-living shit out of each other in ECW, but blood and bleeding was generally reserved for the matches that had the most intrigue in them. You weren't going to see JT Smith and I don't fucking know who was another jobber in Roadkill, blading each other in the first match. That's not going to happen. But when you get to like Raven versus Tommy Dreamer, Raven versus Sandman, Sandman versus Tommy Dreamer, Taz and Sabu, those kind of matches needed blood. You can't have blood in every single match on a card because it's just going to completely dilute it and people just aren't going to fucking care anymore. That's why Cleveland Wrestling Alliance almost has to give away tickets to get people to come. And they only charge like $5 a ticket and they draw like 20 people. Like, that's how low level that people think of them, just because it's literally death matches every show and the guys aren't good enough workers to make a death match believable anyway. But there are promotions that do it right now. The two best who do it right, in my opinion, are Game Changer Wrestling and Absolute Intense Wrestling out of Cleveland. Those are the two best that do it. Deathmatch wrestling is wonderful when it's done correctly, when there's a story to it, and when there's a reason behind it. If there's no reason behind it, I can go out in my hometown and watch dudes hit each other with shit for free, and it's the same thing. But, so yeah, I want to thank a couple of my friends who got me turned on to good deathmatch wrestling. Caden Ranke, Russell Williams, and Justin Doan all kind of got me turned on to good deathmatch wrestling. They turned me on to some stuff in Freedoms and some other stuff in Japan. That we think our guys are nuts here in America doing death matches. They have fucking exploding rings and piranha cage matches, and it's just completely fucking ludicrous. But I appreciate them turning me on to good stuff. My next review will be AIW's Escape from Cleveland from September 14th, I think, of 2018, which featured the AIW debut of Ultimo Dragon, and the main event was a Mexican death match with the Young Studs against La Familia de Tijuana, or, as I say to my friend Michael Porter, La Familia de Tijuana. He always gets so annoyed when I say that. But again, I want to thank everybody for watching these. It gives me an outlet to discuss one of the two things that is my greatest love in life, this and musical theater. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Thanks!